Hey everyone, my name is Katarina, and this is Katarina's Garage. So, let's talk about something. The Magnum blew up its transmission, which, now, this is not my car. This is my dad's car. You've seen it in the background of many videos. I've never really done anything with it. But, Wednesday, the transmission blew. Left him stranded on the side of the road. Granted, it was only like a couple blocks. I told him, you know, we could just like push it, or I could like grab a tow rope and I could pull it with my car. But he didn't want to do that. Luckily, I mean, standard towing was just on the street and that was fine. They did a really good job getting it back here. So, you know, it was good. And they got there very quickly. I mean, granted, like they're literally where they parked the truck is just right away. But, so, anyways. So that gives us a problem. Like, and I can show you that, yeah, the transmission just is not working at all. This is a 2005 Dodge Magnum SXT all-wheel drive with the NAG 1 automatic. It is derived from the Mercedes 5-speed, and it's not very good. Out of all of the transmissions that were out at the time, though, in the Dodges, this was the best, but that's not saying much. Unfortunately, just for whatever reason, Dodge, whenever they decided, which was about 1984-ish, that to put an overdrive in their automatics, they instantly just became not good at all. So let's kind of go over this thing and why my Mustang isn't here. To be fair, it's actually just parked off screen at the moment, because my dad's gonna need a vehicle, and I'm not gonna be able to get this one fixed in time when he comes back from work up north. So that means I'm going to be focusing on that, which means Stitch is not going to be focused on near as much for the next little bit. Which, granted, this car doesn't need a ton to get back on the road, but it needs a little bit. So, but anyways, let's go over the Magnum, and I'll show you what's what with it. So, the Dodge Magnum is based on the LX platform from Dodge, and actually it's also underneath very much a Mercedes E-Class. And now this one, and what's interesting though is that if you can tell an all-wheel drive from a non-all-wheel drive, the all-wheel drives have these wheels like this, where they have this little indent like this, where the regular ones wouldn't have that, and it would just go all the way out like that. So they're actually very rare wheels. They're a different offset from your regular sort of LX platform vehicle that's rear-wheel drive. And, you know, this thing, it does have a decent amount of hail damage, whatever else, but it's not in that bad shape. Like you can see kind of on the roof, kind of how it's doing what it's doing. But something really dumb about this, though, because, like, yeah, we know it's a transmission that's, you know, bit the dust. And yeah, the buttons don't work, so, on the remote. But like, what's really dumb, so you can get inside, and, well, because of the whole thing with the transmission being cooked, well, let's just check the fluid. You can't. Because, let me show you why you can't. Now you can get the you can get, like, the dealerships have the my brain will work here, the dipstick, because the dipstick on these, or where it should be, is right up here for the transmission, right? But it says for dealer use only. You take this off and, oh, look at that, there's no dipstick on there. It's just a plug. So, and when you try and rev this thing out, whatever else, while it's in gear, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't really want to go into park almost at all. Like, it is right now, but it didn't want to. It made a horrible, horrible noise, which I'm not going to wreck it anymore by doing this. So, let me start it up and I'll show you what it will do. Because if I just and even if I try and put it into reverse, there's nothing selecting gear. So that's a bad sign. But then, I don't know if he'll do it. That's the noise it makes when you try and put it into park. So yeah, there's definitely something wrong. It almost sounds like it might be like an input shaft or something like that, especially with that noise. But who knows exactly what the problem is with this? And we wouldn't know until we like take it apart. And that's kind of the plan. At some point, take out the transmission. Well, as long as I can find one, because they're not. These transmissions are sort of plentiful. It is the Chrysler Nag 1 transmission, which was made from 2005 until 2007. So not a long life cycle for this transmission. And it's kind of sad, because like, these magnums are cool. I personally like this vehicle overall. Now, does it mean that I own one? No. Or if I did, I would have to like modify it quite a bit. And this car has served my dad for 4 faithful years, and then now, like, I mean, it has its issues right now, but unfortunately, it has died. However, that means that the Capri over here, like I mentioned earlier, is going to be put on the road. So this is my 1981 Mercury Capri. Now, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do with this car. But now I need to get it on the road so that my dad has a vehicle that he can drive, because obviously that thing is kaput, and this will be much easier to fix than that. So what all does this need? It's actually not a lot. And what's nice is that, like, for it to pass an inspection, I mean, these doors have to be replaced, but I'm pretty sure, because they are quite rusty, but yet they close, they seal just fine, and whatever else. But let's go over this vehicle, and I'll show you what's what with it. Also, I don't have keys for this, but I have had it running because hashtag flathead screwdriver. But yeah, and it didn't damage the column, so that's a win. But you can see like the rust on the door. I do need to put a couple more nuts into this bumper cover, which is the original bumper cover off of Stitch over there. So that's one thing. When you hold on to parts for a long time, you figure out, well, why are you doing that? That's why, right there. And it's almost the same color too. It's like Stitch is a slightly darker than the lighter tone of this car. So this isn't the gray pewter metallic. Well, my car is, my Mustang. But so basically, what I need to do: get the rear quarter windows installed, get the new tires on that I have, get a battery in it, which I'm going to be picking up today, and last but not least, fix the shock towers. Now, the shock towers are not bad, and I actually think that the shock towers would have an advisory and not a fail on an inspection form. Because let me show you what I mean and why I think that. So this car is a 4-speed manual, so 4-speed SROD car with a 200 inline 6 under the hood. And if we look under the hood here, like you'll see, same as it looks in Stitch, this doesn't look as pretty because it's all stock. Other than like emissions delete under here, that's all that's been done to this one. But like I think it still has the cats in it though. I think, but I don't know for sure. But if I take you off the here, and I take a look, and you can see the shock towers. It's not all the way through. Like, you can actually see, you know, it's a little weak, but it's not too bad. Now, that might actually fail it, but I am planning on getting these fixed. And my neighbor said he would do it for me, and no worries. And you can see it's kind of delaminating here too. So this side's much better than that side. And then I just need to get a couple of nuts for the starter solenoid so that I can actually, you know, use the starter solenoid, right? So other than that, that's basically where we're at with this vehicle, and anything else that might pop up. But so far, I mean, it runs pretty good. It drives pretty well, although it doesn't have power brakes, but we can address that later. Like, we can end up replacing that brake booster, you know, at a later time. And, yeah, so, but like I mentioned, I don't have keys for this car. So I'll have to get keys cut, so that means I gotta take out the lock cylinders on the sides here, or just get a whole new set of lock cylinders for this car, which I might end up doing because I don't have a hatch cylinder. Yeah. Now this car is actually a very rare vehicle, because Mercury Capris, they didn't make near as many as the Mustangs. However, this one being a factory manual, maybe 10% of all Capris, if that even, were factory manual vehicles. So this is kind of a rarity in that regard. Now, will I keep this one around after we either get this one fixed or get my dad a new vehicle? I don't know. We'll see. But getting this thing actually properly on the road with decent tires will actually increase the value of the vehicle by a decent amount. So, to sell on to somebody else, maybe. I don't know. We'll have to see, you know, what I decide. But, yeah, so, but if you're in Alberta, actually, and if you have a NAG1 transmission, it's the 5-speed Tiptronic automatic that they made from, like I said, 2005 to 2007. If you have one, let me know, because, yeah, if it's worthwhile, we'll put the transmission in this car. Because otherwise, it's, I don't know, like, it'd make a really good parts car as it is, because it's actually in pretty good shape overall. But, yeah, so anyways, thank you all for watching. Hope you did enjoy. If you did, please like the video, comment anything you want to see down below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and yeah, I'll catch you next one. Peace out.